Ayubowan, Vanakkam, good evening. Chief guest of the event, His Excellency Gopal Bagle, High Commissioner to the India in Sri Lanka, President of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, Susantha Mallavarachi, distinguished members of the head table, members of the executive committee, distinguished invitees, members of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, dear participants, it gives me great pleasure and honor to address you in this evening as an economist. So, all of us are talking these days about economics. The topic given to me by President Susantha Mallavarachi is present economic situation and role of professionals in Sri Lanka. I think it is very important topic. We have to reflect on these two areas. The Sri Lankan economy, as you all are aware, it is about 85 billion US dollar economy with many internal and external crises today. Though we have passed 70 odd years in independence, the issue is still we are struggling for these internal and external crises. So we know in the current situation, there are two sides to see this economic situation. One is internal economic crisis. The other one is the external economic crisis. If I say it in simple words, that is the dollar crisis, someone may say, and fiscal crisis. So currently, Sri Lankan economy is facing a severe external earnings and expenditure crisis, which means that our total imports are about 20 billion US dollars, but our total exports are only 12 billion US dollars. So we have about 3 billion or 2.5 billion tourism income and 5 billion just only remittances. So as a result, our total import bill alone 20 billion we can match with all earnings. But the issue what we are having, we have about 4.4 billion to pay back as loans, and accumulated debt is also there. So as a result, we have external economic crisis. What is the reason behind this? Over the long run, we have not been exporting enough while we were gradually accustomed to high import level, which is not suitable for Sri Lankan economy. In other words, our consumption pattern day by day expanded with the imported items. As a result, import bill went up a significant level. So this, of course, can be linked to the anti-export bias economic growth in Sri Lanka. The economic growth was non-exporting bias economic growth what we had. We can come to, I think, conclusion on the external crisis if we understand the internal crisis as well. Internal economic crisis, of course, we know the government budget has a big gap where the income is not sufficient, while the expenditure is vast. Every year, government expenditure increases, but government revenue is not increasing. That is the main issue. So why government revenue has not been increasing with the other countries, par with the other countries? The basic, what I can tell you, is a different view. That is due to the information lack in the country. Still, this Sri Lankan economy, over 70% is informal economy. I think the formal economy is about 30%. We do not have data. Grassroots level data we do not have. One of the main reasons behind that, the grassroots level organization for data collection has not been favorable, and we have not been utilizing the grassroots level information collection, except the election information. So grassroots level, we know for the election we use the identity card number, but not to raise the other data, we never use the identity card number. So conceptually, we still not able to define what is rural and what is urban. If you just type in your Google the percentage of rural population in Sri Lanka, what is the answer you are getting? 81%. Do you believe that the Sri Lanka has 81% rural population? So where you can understand the deficiency of data in Sri Lankan economy. Because still the urban definition in Sri Lanka, people living in municipal council and urban council areas. So, since the definition is wrong, adopted by the Department of Census and Statistics, so data is not available at grassroots level. We have 14,000 Grama Niladhari divisions. In each Grama Seva Niladhari division, we have about 7 to 8 public sector officers, but data is not collected. There's no any coordination with respect to essential data collection in Sri Lanka. So as a result, the decisions, all economic decisions are taking without having grassroots level information. The best example is the Samurdhi, where you talk about 60% of population, family population, household population are subsidized by Samurdhi. I think each of us know the Samurdhi is not a good program for poverty alleviation in Sri Lanka. It has been evident, and still, even in 2019, we increased 600,000 Samurdhi recipients, which means we have not designed country's major poverty reduction program with the data. That is biggest waste what we do. So in economics, we can justify if we are giving something free to a really need person. But in economics, we can't justify if we give free something to a person who have enough capabilities. So the waste happened in Sri Lanka is we could not identify what is incentive, what is punishment in Sri Lankan economy. In simple word, when we study the Singaporean development, we call carrot and stick argument. You have to be very careful when you are using carrot and stick to win the race, because what is carrot, when to use the stick, you have to understand. In Sri Lankan economy, during last 70 years, we could not identify what is carrot, what is stick. Where do we take the stick decisions, strict decisions on economics? Where do we subsidize? We could not understand. So as a result, because of the lack of information. The most important thing, lack of information. The second, we have not utilized this carrot and stick argument in Sri Lanka. Because our religions and all other cultural things say, if you have money, give it to free. Give it somebody else. Is it the best way? Because the people have accustomed to think the next life. They believe that if they give something free, it is the best thing for their next life. This is a myth. If you have money in economics, you have to invest. You have to reinvest. You have to go for higher production and provide goods and services for cheaper prices for people. Then everybody better off. If you don't invest, how can be better off? Why? Because this has linked to the role of professionals also. I will come to this at the end. So, the one important aspect what I highlighted in Sri Lanka is that we have not smart to use this carrot and stick argument in Sri Lanka. Giving subsidies as politicians wish and no strict decision making because elections coming. That is one of the worst things we had in Sri Lankan economy. The second important thing, because of the lack of information, our taxation system, still the Inland Revenue Department cannot identify who should pay the tax in the country. They go for easily available data set, which is professional salaries or any income earner who is recording monthly income. But meanwhile, you can see in informal sector, some persons having millions of money in the microfinancing and investing. There are many opportunities you see that people use that not recorded, unrecorded transactions. Unrecorded transactions are large in Sri Lanka. So it is role of Inland Revenue to create a data set and take the money where who is not paying the tax. Unless we do that, we will never be a country where drawing enough taxation for the development. Just changing VAT rate 14 to 18 or 16 or just changing VAT rate will not be an answer. Answer is changing the information. If they can capture that I said the 70% of informal sector, then country will be rich. Informal transactions, the country can raise because that when we can see in East Asian countries how their taxation income increase. On the other hand, in the local economy, we had a big issue in the secretaries here, agricultural sector. Agriculture sector development also, myth in Sri Lanka, people believe that the production is not sufficient. Always we focus on production and we went into giving subsidies for raw materials rather than the final product. So in East Asian countries, what they did that they allowed the free market to work there by supporting the final market. But in Sri Lanka, we went into giving huge subsidies for raw materials, one way. On the other hand, the most important thing is to manage the post-harvest management. How do we do post-harvest management in Sri Lanka? We have to rethink, we have to do innovative ways. And we are not having data set. Unfortunately, His Excellency, like in India, we do not have input-output table. In economics, we have a tool called input-output table. We don't prepare it in Sri Lanka. Where the input-output table means when the production starting, everything recorded, throughout the production process, entire data is available, and even who is using is entire data is available. The people are taking decisions based on information and data. Now the world is moving to digital and big data and data mining, all this. Still we do not have grassroots data. How much manioca produce, how much rice produce, we don't know. Why the rice price cannot be controlled in Sri Lanka? No one knows who has the stock of rice. No one knows who's purchasing how much of rice. The information, again. So unless we correct this information issue, the Sri Lanka cannot be a developed country. That is one of the important things. I think the time is flying. The most important thing that any society, crises are coming, crises are going. We call it business cycle. How the business cycle behave. Of course, all of us are now in a crisis situation. Even in a crisis situation, the Sri Lankan ordinary people have not understood the depth of the crisis, even professionals. The depth of the crisis, they have not understood. Now you can see even 3 times going up the petrol price, diesel price, still the traffic is same now. Come back to same. So which means the people adjust for everything, but they don't know what is happening in future. So it is too much dangerous situation we all are in unless we try to do a different method of living, different way of taking decisions. If we are not taking decisions as professionals based on data, then there will be a serious situation for the country. Finally, I will come to the second part of my topic given, that is the role of professionals. The role of professionals in a crisis situation. You know, in a crisis situation, what is happening? The prices are going up, the production is not sufficient, imports banned, we stop even, we know that Sri Lanka, by 2019, once the World Bank, we upgraded into the upper middle income country. By 2020, just before the economic crisis, again downgraded to the lower middle income country. And now sometimes they are saying that we are low income country, but we are not low income country, still lower middle income country. Anyway, this categorization, when we see that in an economic crisis situation, what can we do? What can we do as professionals? Only thing what we should do that we think we have to go back to our fundamentals, and it is called, one aspect is called literacy. We have to improve the literacy. What is literacy? Just if I ask you, you say that it is very simple. The literacy means reading and writing in our mother tongue. That era has gone. Now today we talk about literacy with 5 components. Number 1, language literacy. How many languages we can speak? That is, of course, now globally, people are learning many languages. How many languages we can use, that communication ability we have to improve. That in different languages, alternative languages, maybe Hindi, maybe Chinese, maybe Korean, the alternative languages we need to go. We have to live with the different type of global people. The second component of the literacy is, you know, that is ICT literacy, and not only ICT, smartphone. We all are using smartphones. Maybe sometimes over 50,000 phones we are using. If we really think that, how much smart part of that phone are we using? Even we use smartphone to take call, take a photograph, upload and download. But make sure to learn that smart part of the mobile phone. It is a role of professional how to learn this smart part of the mobile phone. In Sri Lanka, we have number of mobile phones than the number of people living in Sri Lanka. So ICT and mobile communication literacy, we need to learn as much as possible. Because globally, now world is moving for digitalization, big data decisions, online transactions, online entrepreneurs, so that we need to go with the existing ICT and communication technology. Number 3 is, again, the professional organization like you is very important, which is the financial literacy. Are we financially literate? That is the most important question. What is financial literacy? Which is, we know how to earn money, how to save money, how to invest money, how to grow with the money, how your money will work and bring money for you without working by yourself. So art of using money, we have to master. Some professionals, they work 18 hours, they don't know what is happening to their money in the bank. They believe that the nominal interest rate, the 30% interest rate, they want to invest in bank, the fixed deposit, but actual inflation rate is 70%. So minus 40% is your money. So think about financial literacy, how we can grow with the financial literacy. That is very important part. So I think I always emphasize to read the Rich Dad and Poor Dad book. Not only that, there are many financial literacy books written in American history, American economics. You can go and be a rationally investor, not as a professional. Why I say that? Why Sri Lanka is not a developed country? One of the significant information I can give you, that is we do not have enough entrepreneurs in the country. We have 22 million population in the country, but labor force is only 8 million. Out of this 8 million labor force, only 2.8% people say that we are employers. So the people who have given jobs to others, 2.6%, or the total 270,000, 80,000, less than 300,000 people say we are employers. I think in any other developed country, not even developed, even developing countries today, the people are starting businesses. There's a huge tendency in Sri Lanka. There has been that people are not starting businesses. Still going on. I think my 33 years University of Colombo teaching experience, I have asked many times when I teach for MBA degree, postgraduate qualifications, about 25 years I have been teaching. How many business owners in my class? Only one, or rarely? No one in the class. There's rarely one or two. Otherwise, all are doing Master of Business Administration for promotion, for shifting the job, for migration. But why the Master of Business Administration started in the world in Harvard University to educate entrepreneurs, 100% entrepreneurs. So today, even the management qualifications are getting for promotions or transfers or shifting the job or migrate. So the very pathetic situation, people are not starting businesses. So if we don't increase this employers' population at least up to 2 million, we will be still going as this lower middle income country. So we need to improve financial literacy. We need to teach people to start businesses. In our culture or education, it's not supporting for financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So as a result, the professionals also, large number of professionals, they have believed the fixed deposit system is the best. So what we do, if we have money, we will fix, or we will go for public sector bonds, and then we will secure. But after retiring or after going back to your normal life, you will realize that with your enough resources, you would have done something. So therefore, the third component of literacy, as professionals, we have to rethink about, are we financially literate? What can we do to get our financial literacy knowledge? That is important. The fourth component, of course, is your ability to create new things, innovations. You know, in management, the blue ocean strategy, not the red ocean strategy. If everybody compete for a small market, for a small area, that is only bloodshed. So the red ocean strategy. You need to create with your knowledge and professionalism new area of developing. So that is the value creation, and of course that should lead to entrepreneurship. Last and most important component as the professionals, I think what is you are practicing today. That is the networking. Networking with others. So if we network, we can do many things. You need to learn how to get it done from others. That art of how to get it done from others will increase when we are networking with right people at right time. So the literacy means today, who are your friends? What are you doing with your friends? So therefore, the networking also a very important component for professionals in today's world. So according to my understanding, the professionals are the most strongest group when crisis is coming, but all cannot survive if they don't change, transform. If we transform, we will be able to survive from this crisis. I think still we can do many things. We have to get together and rethink, listen to others, searching things, we can find solutions. I think I have taken much time from you. Thank you very much for inviting me today for this address. Thank you.